I am Bill Rochelle, Editor-at-Large for American Bankruptcy Institute. This week on Rochelle's Daily Wire Video Edition, I am going to debunk a popular myth about ABI. Some folks say that ABI is only for tall building lawyers who are involved exclusively in major Chapter 11 cases. Well, that certainly is not true, especially as measured by my column, Rochelle's Daily Wire, which appears every day on the ABI website. That's because much more than half of the time, I am writing about important emerging issues involving consumer debtors in chapters 7 and 13 in particular. Just within the last week, there were two really important cases that we discussed in my column that I want to talk about very briefly here today. The first is a question about what are the debt limits for Chapter 13. In this particular case, a debtor had a prior Chapter 7 case where he had given a subordinate $3 million mortgage on his home to secure business debt. So in that Chapter 13 case, he discharged the personal liability on that $3 million mortgage indebtedness. It remained, of course, a liability or a mortgage on his home. More than 4 years later, the debtor filed a Chapter 13 petition, but the lender on that $3 million mortgage came to court and said, no, you have vastly more debt, secured and unsecured, than Chapter 13 will permit. Bankruptcy Judge Ann Nevins in Hartford, Connecticut said, no, I don't agree with that notion. She said that because the $3 million was no longer a personal liability, it is not considered in the Chapter 13 debt limits. That case is called Henry Roombid in the District of Connecticut. Then, a day later, on Monday, the 26th of August, we dealt with another significant individual bankruptcy case. This has to do with whether an individual debtor in Chapter 11 must give new value to retain exempt property. In that decision, which is called Henry Juarez in the Ninth Circuit BAP, by the way, Bankruptcy Judge Ferris wrote what I thought was a superb decision, saying that no, for an individual in Chapter 11, you do not have to give new value to cover the value of exempt property. Well, as I said, I thought that decision made eminent good sense to me. But within minutes of when that column appeared on people's computers, I received two messages from eminent bankruptcy judges in the country, both of whom disagreed rather sincerely with the conclusion that Judge Ferris had made. That decision, by the way, is called Henry Juarez. And, you know, I'm not in a position to say who is right and wrong, but I suppose that you should very well read that opinion in full text by Judge Ferris to decide if he got it right or not. Well, that's all we have for this week, for this summer. We will be back after Labor Day, again a week from today, with another installment of something significant that's happened in the world of bankruptcy. And in the meantime, enjoy Labor Day.